once faced with enemy invasion, even the gentlest disappointment will reveal its ferocious side. But in daily life, Mofu Mo is the warmest disappointment I have ever seen. When his wife is diligently raising their young, he will take the initiative to give the prey to the priest. When the lion pride is leisurely enjoying the afternoon, but he has to patrol his territory under the scorching 45-degree heat. Becoming a lion king at the tender age of 4 is quite rare. This age is equivalent to 18 years old in human terms. Young and promising, responsible for the family, Mufumbo has won the favor of countless warriors. In the harsh environment of the Luangwa Valley Plains, Mufumbo leading a pride of only 6 members. His mate is called Kipenzi. It means beauty. He and Mufasa rule the pride together. But holding on to their territory isn't easy, because the male lion is still young, and the pride is relatively small. Their territory has become a target for many male lions, the place he based himself, even under the scorching sun. At the end of the Mu Mansion, he had to patrol his 16-kilometer territory. At intervals, he would rub his foot on the ground, leaving behind a strongly scented message, warning intruders that this was his territory. For Mufasa, scent is his most powerful defense at the moment, because he's still not strong enough to fight an adult male lion. Soon after, across the river, a disturbing figure appeared. It was a prime adult male lion, who had his eye on Mufasa's territory. If a conflict were to erupt between the two, Mufumor would likely stand no chance. Fortunately, a river prevented this conflict, but once the water level drops, the other side will surely return. The bizarre ancestor frog often hunts with one of his sisters. They are the main hunters in the lion pride. They are not only skilled in the techniques of exerting force, but also adept at using the terrain to find the best ambush spots. While everyone else is busy hunting, a lazy lioness is still sleeping in. This is Zoa's other lazy sister. She never participates in any hunts. These are the pride's last 2 members. They are Zoa's aunt and cousin. This mother and daughter sometimes eat the prey Zoa catches, but they never share with others their delicious food. On the other side, Zoa's sister spotted an antelope. He immediately crouched down and prepared for an ambush, but the young one clearly lacked experience. Before the antelope got close, he had already revealed himself. He'd have to wait until night. Night fell. The lion, with its exceptional night vision, could clearly see the antelope's every move at night. Zoa crawled forward slowly. He needed to get closer to the antelope. They were driven towards the bushes where the younger sister was hiding. The younger sister also took up a position in the bushes. Zoa waited quietly there. At this time, she had to calm herself down, because an unsuccessful chase would only waste precious energy. Experienced hunters always pay close attention to the prey's every move. The fairyland on the side is also set up. Now, Zoa drove away the panicked adoptees. While her sister cut off their escape from another direction, they perfectly cut off their escape. What a beautiful cooperation between the sisters. But before the sisters could take a bite, their aunt and cousin arrived. Lazy sister also arrived late, and joined the others in a feast. Bakufu also came upon hearing the sounds, but he has no appetite now. Because the opponent is always a threat, that cannot be ignored. He must continue patrolling his territory. After all, it's better to go hungry than to lose one's home. Lions are known as the kings of the jungle, but they can't rule the underwater world. The Luangwa Valley has the highest concentration of crocodiles in the world. These reptiles have a bite force far exceeding that of sharks. They are the apex predators of the water. Although the river surface seems calm, but the eccentric Zoa still proceeded cautiously. This river had mercilessly taken away all his children. In 5 years, Zoa had witnessed with his own eyes each of his children tragically die from the crocodile's deadly poison. This river had become an inescapable shadow in his heart. The morning brought a new chance for the bizarre zoo frog to become a parent. Another opportunity to become a mother. In the 4 days of the breeding season, he and his mate had the opportunity to try again to become parents. Now, he prefers to enjoy some alone time with his partner. The bizarre zoo frog's charm is undeniable. Mufmer sensed the scent emanating from Sho Tan's body. Until he was ready. Though many priests enjoy playing coy games, this couple was past that stage. Only passionate anticipation remained. The couple would be inseparable for the next 4 days. To increase their chances of conception, they would mate twice an hour. And they would do so for 24 hours a day without stopping. Soon after, Chipazwoa, far from the group, gave birth to 2 adorable cubs for the shogunate. It was a pair of twins, a boy and a girl. In the following period, Zhuwa would protect them constantly, helping the two siblings through their bumpy moments. While hunting, the eccentric grandma would hide them. But the two little ones were restless. While grandma was away, the siblings started their private explorations. Lions are born with a spirit of exploration, but curiosity often brings danger. Besides hunting dogs and cheetahs, young children can also become crocodile snacks. A brother and sister, only a week old, were unaware of the danger. They stepped into crocodile territory. The timid younger brother quickly followed his sister. At this point, the siblings were already in grave danger, faced with unfamiliar territory, and we felt particularly helpless. The crocodile heard the sounds from the bank, and quickly came over. Having hunted back, the bizarre Zhuwa discovered that his child was missing. He anxiously searched everywhere. The previous calls told him that the child was on the opposite bank, but to save his child, he must cross this nightmarish river. Faced with the surging river, Chipa Zhuwu's heart was filled with fear. But to save his child, he must conquer this fear. On the other side, the kindergarten teachers anxiously awaited rescue. The crocodiles were also getting restless. Thus, Zhuwu resolutely plunged into the water. He remained vigilant, aware of the crocodiles that could attack at any moment, while speeding towards the opposite bank. Come on, Zhuwu. This time, you must protect your child. After a great effort, the quirky Zhuwa finally reached the other side. But man-eating demons lurked on the riverbank. Zhuwa had to find the children immediately. Luckily, mother and children were finally reunited. Zhuwa felt an unprecedented sense of relief. This time, he successfully protected his children. But this time, the children escaped by luck. But will they be so lucky next time? As time went by, the cubs survived their first challenge. The 6-week-old cubs were already able to keep up with their mother. Mother and cubs could finally stop acting alone. So Zhuwa made an important decision: to lead his cubs back into the pride. Back with the pride, his sister greeted Zhuwu at the door, while Mafumo was being stingy. The cubs had never seen a male lion before. Therefore, they instinctively showed caution and respect. For Mafumo, this was the first time he had seen his children. Although he wasn't good at expressing himself verbally, his emotions, but his eyes are full of tender love for his cubs. Now, the lionesses have become official members of the pride. However, Mufasa's responsibility isn't raising the cubs. Instead, it's to protect the entire pride's safety. This is the only love he, as a father, can give his children. Although adult male lions, we're usually wary of young rivals. But thankfully, the cubs aren't yet a threat. But once they're adults, they'll be driven from the pride. That's a long way off, though. Time flies. The two siblings reach their second hurdle. Weaning usually stops at around 7 months old. Then he started to shift to eating meat. Zhuwa, the quirky kid, hadn't eaten for many days. He was starving. Before setting out to hunt, Zhuwa had to solve a problem that plagued all parents. That is, getting the children to go to sleep obediently, but handling two mischievous children alone wasn't easy. Although he tried various methods to coax the children to sleep, but the brother and sister didn't seem to buy it. They just refused to go to sleep obediently. The helpless Zhuwu simply picked up his son directly and walked towards the nest. After seeing her brother being carried away forcefully, the sister reluctantly went to sleep as well. After settling the siblings, the hungry Zhuwa was about to go hunting. However, before she had gone far, she saw Mafumo with a black-spotted bushbuck in his mouth, walking towards her. Generally speaking, male lions rarely provide food for their partners. But Mafumo, for his beloved wife, they caught precious prey. Zhuwa was overjoyed. She kept circling Mafumo. She was expressing her affection. Mafumo wasn't good at expressing his emotions, but his actions were enough to show the Lion King's charm. After leaving some food behind, Mu left silently. Zhuwa, however, returned with her prey, preparing to share it with her children. But as soon as she got home, Zhuwa was startled. She discovered that the two siblings were gone again. She let out a series of low calls, telling her children that their mother was back. Soon, Zua found her son. But her daughter had already climbed up a tree. Even now, Zua can't figure out how her 7-month-old daughter managed to climb such a tall tree. But the little one seemed to not know how to get down. Zua had no choice but to do it herself. But the mischievous daughter kept shrinking back. Zua, unable to bear it any longer, slapped him to the ground. "It's all right. My daughter is only dizzy. Otherwise she's fine." Zua examined her carefully and confirmed she wasn't injured. But this life of constant fear and anxiety, Zua doesn't know how much longer this will last. The children's education is a problem. It always gives mom a terrible headache. The little lions are full of energy, and their personalities are gradually emerging. Jia Jia is lively and active. She is rash and intensely curious. While her younger brother is very attached to mom, he often cuddled up next to Zuba. They learned crucial skills through play. In 3 months, they all grew up a lot. After years of absence, the pride finally welcomed new members. However, the threats never disappeared. With the arrival of the dry season, in this water-scarce environment, this became the only place to drink. But the seemingly safe pond actually hides a deadly danger. Because ferocious crocodiles lurk nearby. Once an animal comes to drink, they will quietly approach. Zua and her sister helped each other closely, and constantly vigilant against the threat of drowning. A lurking crocodile launched a surprise attack. Luckily, Zua reacted quickly. The two sisters once again escaped the crocodile's clutches. The ambush failed. The crocodile had no choice but to leave. The siblings escaped unharmed. However, this also made them aware of the harsh realities of survival. I have a deeper understanding. Weeks flew by. Luangwa Valley was once again suffering from drought. The once surging river now had an exposed riverbed. Water was scarce. However, on this dry riverbed, Mafumbo discovered an ominous sign. The rival lion Pride was closer than ever before. This was his first time seeing all the members of the opposing group. But the river remained an insurmountable barrier between them. However, how long could this tranquility last? With the arrival of summer, the lions' lives became very leisurely. However, their attention was suddenly drawn to a disturbance in the distance. Prey has come to us. A herd of buffalo. Only when the water dries up will they come to the river. The lions never miss a chance to hunt. Zawa silently lowers her body, patiently waiting for the perfect moment to strike. However, his cubs inadvertently ruined the hunt. The water buffaloes sensed danger and became restless. But Lazy Sister, for some reason, suddenly became active. He started chasing the panicked water buffaloes. As the herd moved away, Zua could only wait helplessly. The water buffalo herd's defense seems impenetrable, but they have a fatal weakness. That is their fear of the night. Under the darkness's erosion, the buffalo become abnormally sensitive. Once the herd is disturbed, they easily expose vulnerable individuals. That will provide the lion Pride with an excellent hunting opportunity. The quirky young lioness employed a clever tactic. She bravely approached the herd, creating a commotion, while her companions launched a flanking attack, forming a perfect encirclement. However, facing a massive water buffalo, even several lionesses would struggle to subdue it easily. The crucial moment, Mo made his move. He clamped down hard on the water buffalo's neck. This not only ensured a fatal blow, but also prevented his companions from being injured again. In its struggle, the water buffalo gradually lost its breath. Just as Mufumur was about to enjoy his dinner, a roar from the distance interrupted him. As the leader, Mufumur had to go and investigate. It seemed he would go hungry again tonight. The unprecedented drought continued. Luangwa Valley hadn't seen a drop of rain for 7 whole months. The once raging river has vanished. This natural barrier has disappeared for the first time in years. Some animals have left the lion's territory, while others have moved in. This is Mufasa's rival. Even his fear of water can't stop him from crossing. He only fears crocodiles and drowning. And those threats are now gone. He roared a deafening challenge to the silently resting Pride. But it seemed to elicit no response. This unwelcome guest remained undetected by any of the lions. But all the cubs were in danger, because the male lion's instinct drove him to pass on his genes. But those young lives became obstacles to his achieving this goal. The lions only mate again after their cubs have grown up. But if the cubs die, they'll come into heat again in a few days. If the intruder succeeds, the future of the whole pride will be in jeopardy. But this outsider seems to be indulging in some strong stimulant. He's smearing himself with the dung of palaces and horses. These substances, containing male hormones, intoxicate him, lowering his guard. He's brimming with confidence, as if he's already invincible. A strange roar breaks the silence. Every lioness can sense the danger. Mufasa has already gone to patrol the territory, so they must rely on their own strength to deal with this impending trouble. The intruder lurks in the shadows. The male and the youngest cub stay behind. The rest of the lionesses brace themselves for battle. A great battle is about to begin. Smurfette displays a style unlike any seen before. He surprisingly joins the battlefield. Facing the siege of 5 lionesses, the mother is quickly beaten and flees in a panic. Although the lionesses are not superior in size, but when they stand shoulder to shoulder, their combined strength is absolutely formidable. The invaders were steadily driven back under their siege. But the battle was far from over. The lion had only retreated temporarily, but he hadn't given up his ambitions. He was brewing a second round. But this time it wouldn't be so easy, because Mufumur was back. Having witnessed his wife and children threatened, Mufumur, he flew into a rage. He decided to track down the intruder. He was prepared to teach him a lesson. To protect his wife and children, he had to solve the problem completely. Only by completely defeating the enemy could he ensure future peace. He overcame his fear of water. He crossed the river. He charged straight at the rival male lion. National Geographic's Mufasa locked onto the rival male lion. He abandoned his usual gentle demeanor. He unleashed a series of powerful blows towards his enemy's face. The enemy quickly retreated after taking a beating. The victorious Mufasa returned to his territory. He would join forces with his unusual cub, Zawadi, to strengthen the pride. The young lions will also grow up healthily under the protection of the Lion King. They will grow up healthily. If this isn't home, where else could it be?